What's up, everybody? This is Bree from Young, Saved, and Free, and I'm back with this week's devotional. For everybody that's new here, welcome to my channel. I hope you decided to subscribe and become part of the family. Just go ahead and hit that button and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video from me. And for all y'all that's been here, welcome back. Hey, y'all. Hey. I feel like I haven't done this in a while because I think it's been a couple weeks. I didn't do one last week because of Thanksgiving, and child, I got to get on it. I'm working on it, y'all. But I do have some good news. So I started my new job this Monday, December 2nd. So that means I have to work on my filming schedule all over again, right? Great. But I'm so excited. And when I tell y'all, I'm like ecstatic about this job. Like, it's not the best job, but it's way better than what I was doing. I work Monday through Friday now. I don't work crazy hours at night. But leading up, I knew that I got the job 2 weeks ago, I think. Maybe 2 weeks ago. They gave me a conditional offer. And so Sunday night before when I was getting, I went to bed early. I was so excited. Like, I had my clothes laid out, took a shower that night. Cause I'm a morning shower type of girl. Like, I have to take a shower in the morning to make sure that I'm awake. But I took a shower that night just to kind of relax my body and prepare so I could be mentally prepared for what's going to happen when I get to work the next day. I did my hair, all that stuff. So that night, I literally was like borderline anxiety attack just thinking about, what's going to happen when I get to work, because I haven't worked in my field in 3 years. So I'm like, oh my God, what is it going to be like? And then on top of that, I come from a social services background. However, I got my master's in public administration last year. So this is a completely new field for me. So I'm like, what if I don't do this right? What if I mess up on something? And I have eczema on my neck. Like, I literally started scratching, and it started spreading worse. And I'm like, oh man. It's like I was getting that nervous. I started scratching, and I'm like, it was a whole situation. And so before I left, I talked to my auntie. And if y'all don't know, my auntie is also my apostle, and she's also like another mom to me. So she was like, what you nervous for? You got it. Like, obviously you can do the job, because they wouldn't have hired you if they didn't think you could do the job. So I'm like, you right. I got this. So I done hype myself up and listen to Ty Tribbett sermons on the way to work. And I get there early, and then I see the other people that they hired. And I immediately shut down all over again, right? And so when because I looked at them and I saw so many differences from what I am. And so, first of all, I'm just going to put this out there. I'm the only black girl that they hired. I am the shortest, and I am the youngest. And when I say youngest, I mean like significantly younger. Like, they look like they were in like their 30s or 40s, and I'm 27. So I'm like, this is awkward. Like, this is... What the heck? Sorry, y'all. My cousin left his phone here, and it just rang, and it kind of freaked me out. But I was just like, some of them I found out were retired teachers, and some of them worked in the Marines and the Air Force and all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm 27. They're like, oh yeah, how many kids you got? Because, I gotta go home and help my kids with their homework. And I'm like, I ain't got no kids. Like, how old are you? I'm 27. Oh my God, you're a baby. And I'm like, this is awkward. So the more I listened to them and listened to their experience, I realized that the intimidation I was feeling wasn't even really valid. Because really, honestly and truly, I'm a bigger threat to them than they are to me. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So this is going to be authority, valuable. It's probably like part 4 or 5 to the I Forgot Who I Was series. This is crazy. I hope that y'all been enjoying the series. So this time, like I said, it is I Forgot Who I Was. I Am a Weapon. And so God took me to 1 Samuel 25. And this is a story. I don't even remember when I first heard this story. I do know where I first heard it. So, Latrice Ryan, actually, I love her, by the way. I love her. She mentioned Abigail in one of her sermons, and I was like, who is Abigail? And this is when I went back and looked up who Abigail was in the Bible, and I went back and read the story. So, a lot of times what I've noticed is with people is, they're all, especially with church people, everything's all good until, like, you can do the no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and greater is he that's within me, and all that, until whatever the weapon is shows up, right? Like, it's cool. It's cool. Like, you can be no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I'm more than a conqueror. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you just going ham on these verses, right? And then the weapon shows up, and you're like, oh, I ain't got nothing to say now. Like, I'm quiet as a church mouse. And the thing about it is, the verse says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So there's certain parts to it. It says the weapon forms. So that means that the weapon is still going to form. It's just not going to win against you. Like, it's still going to be. And then on top of that, it doesn't give any limitations on what the weapon is, how big the weapon is, what the weapon is, like, how the weapon is trying to come against you. Like, there's no discretion on that. It's free, like, open range. Like, you can do whatever you want to do. Free will, all of that. So it's, to me, I think that we underestimate ourselves. And I'll say we because I know that I definitely do. Because like I told y'all, when I walked into that office Monday morning, I saw them people and I was like, I can't do this. But I stayed. Because usually, with one, I ain't going back to the hotel. So like, that's one thing. I ain't going back to the hotel. No, not doing it. But, so we're going to go ahead and get into the text. And again, it was 1 Samuel 25 verses 1 through 13. And specifically for this text, I had to read the Message Bible version because it was a whole lot going on. Like, I was like, what does this mean? Like, I looked at the King James version, and listen, I'm real simple. Like, yes, I have degrees, and I'm very educated and all that. I'm very intelligent, but speak English to me. Like, you don't have to use big words with me. Speak clear. You don't have to, like, just, if you gotta use small words, use those. I don't need the TI version of it. Like, just leave that at home. Okay? So, with this particular text, I noticed a few things. First and foremost, Samuel has died. So, I had to go back and do my history, because I was like, I need to know what I'm talking about when I'm talking to y'all. So, Samuel, he is the one that anointed David. So, and he was also a king, the king of Israel. So this is, for a nation to lose their king, it's a big deal. Like, it's a really big deal. I've never been in a situation where, I wasn't alive when any of the presidents were assassinated. I wasn't alive, when somebody got impeached. Like, it's just, well, hopefully I will be alive when somebody get impeached. But, we're not going to talk about it right now. We're not going to talk about that. So, I've never lived through that. I've never seen that. So I can only imagine what kind of chaos that brought. And on top of that, I think when Samuel died, it was very personal to David. One, because Samuel anointed David. Like, Samuel was the one that pulled David out of his father's house and said, you are going to be king. And when everybody else was overlooking David, Samuel said, this is the one that's going to be king. Not all the bigger ones that's often, that are off in the military and all that. I want the shepherd boy. The shepherd boy is the one that's going to be the king. And so, for David, Samuel gave him notoriety, validated him. And what I started to realize looking in the Bible, David had a really big issue with validation and being acknowledged. So, when Samuel anointed him, yes, that was amazing move of God, all of that. But the one thing that did do was that almost forfeited every opportunity David had to be delivered from that need of validation and a need to be acknowledged. He still dealt with that throughout his whole lifetime in the Bible. If you look at every situation that David is in, it had a root of a validation issue or a acknowledgement issue, something, or like entitlement almost. And so with this situation with Nabal, I think that's how you say his name. I don't really know how to say, y'all know how these biblical names can be. I'm not gonna lie. When I looked at his name, I was like, not when I looked at, when I started reading about him, I really thought, I said, he sounds a lot like y'all president. Listen, I know I live in the United States, but that is not my president. But that's who Nabal reminds me of when I started reading about him. And it made me, because, Nabal means fool. If you read the Message Bible version, it says that it means fool. But, that's neither here nor there. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to keep politics out of it for now. And so he has all of this stuff, right? Like I think it said like 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats or something like that, or some cattle. I don't know. He had a whole farm. Child, I don't know. I don't know what exactly. All I know is a lot of animals. And so when you have that, like, farms are big as it is, but when you have that many animals, you know how big your farm got to be, or how much land you got to have to accommodate all of that. Like, the man had 3,000 sheep. You know how much grass 3,000 sheep got to eat? Like, so he had all of these sheep, and nothing ever happened to him because David made sure nothing happened to them. Now, the issue that I have here is I'm not so mad at Nabal for telling David no. Like, I don't feel like he had to give David anything. To me, anybody could come and say, because he had so much stuff, he don't know who watching his stuff. He has no idea. So, like, David was like, yeah, ain't nothing happening to your stuff because I've been back there watching the whole time, making sure ain't nothing happening. I've been protecting you and I've been doing this. But, like, for me, if you're going to do something, don't throw it back up in my face later. So that's why I'm kind of with the ball on this. Like, David don't really deserve any of this. Like, I'm not going to be so rude about it, but, like, it's different to me that David came to him and was like, listen, you need to give me this because I've been doing this for you and I've been doing that for you. Like, don't be trying to blackmail me and stuff. Like, don't do that. But then at the same time, I feel like Nabal should have done it anyway because David has done it. The issue is that David put his hand out. That's why I have a problem. Like, don't do something for me and then have your hand out later on. Like, don't do that. So I kind of understand where Nabal's coming from. Now, I think the issue here, again, David didn't like that he was being overlooked. He was not validated. He was not acknowledged in this situation. So he want to act up. He like, act up, you can get snatched up. Like, that's really where David was at with the whole thing. But I'm like, you can't tell this man what to do with his stuff. If he don't want to give you nothing, he ain't got to give you nothing. And really, it's crazy to me that he got so mad about it because technically at this point, because Samuel is dead, technically David is king, right? Like, I don't know if that's right or if that's wrong. I don't really know how this whole monarchy thing works. Y'all let me know in the comments. But I feel like if Samuel anointed David to be king and Saul could not be king, would David be the next in line to be king at that point? Like, would he technically be the king? I know Samuel just died. Like, everybody was in town for the funeral or whatever. But is that how that works? So, yeah, he like completely, he wasn't even, I get it, he's grieving. He's like, man, this man that just anointed me, he's dead. But he's like, his emotions are all over the place. So I get it. He's emotional. He just don't want to hear none of that right now. I get that. I get it. So now we go to verses 14 through 22. And here comes Miss Abigail, the one that brought me to this story in the first place. So Abigail, I love her. Like, one, when I think of somebody named Abigail, I think of this like little small, like, I'm short, but I feel like she would be shorter than me. She would be like not frail looking, but real dainty and, very feminine, like wearing her pearls and like just very, very feminine, like housewife-ish. Like that's kind of what I think of when I hear the name Abigail. And I may be completely biased, but whatever, So I just don't think of anybody that's like willing to step to a man. Like she, when I read the text, this is why y'all gotta read the Message Bible version. The Message Bible version, as the person who brought me to the story, Miss Latrice Ryan says, is the ghetto version of the Bible. And she is absolutely right. Like, but the way I read it, it was just like, to me, it seemed like Abigail was just like she's this little woman, and she was like, they was like, oh, Nabal said this is that David. Now David wanted all this and David wanted all that. And she just like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. Like, but in my mind, like, I see her being submissive to Nabal. And I do believe that she was. Because Nabal is, first of all, Nabal is the man in the household. She's going to be submissive to him. But at the same time, I feel like she put her foot down and was like, listen, you may be the head of the household, but I'm the neck. I dare you to try to move without me. Like, I dare you. I double dog dare you to do it. Cross this line and see what happens. Like, I feel like she's small, but she has a lot of authority when it comes to her husband. And so the one thing that I could really, really appreciate about Abigail, that even though she may have been all these things, even though she was submissive to her husband, even though, she did exactly what she was supposed to do, she still had a secret weapon that Nabal lacked altogether. She had wisdom. And so Proverbs 2:6-11 says, for the Lord grants wisdom, from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He grants a treasure of common sense to the honest. He is a shield to those who walk with integrity. He guards the path of the just and protects those who are faithful to him. Then you will understand what is right, just, and fair, and you will find the right way to go. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will fill you with joy. Wise choices will watch over you. Understanding will keep you safe. That is a very important message in this text and in this story, because we're just going to talk about the wisdom factor for a moment, because Nabal completely lacked wisdom. Like, even if he felt some type of way about what David said, he still was going to be in debt to him because of what he's been doing. And I get it. He said, in the text he says, any servant could say whatever or something like that in the text when you read the Minister Bible version. And so, but Abigail has that. And so we're just going to talk about that for a moment, because a lot of times when I've read some of the commentary on this story, and some of the things that people said was that their marriage was unequally yoked. But to me, I believe that they were balanced. This is not scripture. This is Brianna talking. Not even Brie. This is Brianna. Brianna thinks that they are balanced. Why? Because she is, where he's lacking, she has that. And to me, that's not unequally yoked. That's balancing it out. It's not too much wisdom, and it's not too much ignorance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where he's lacking, she has it. So it brings it together. Like, it makes it neutral. Like, so like, and I just think that in any relationship, you never want to have too much of anything. Too much, even in that, from like a health point, too much of anything is still going to be bad for you. So in a relationship, too much is just not going to work. If two people are just using, like, if two people think that they are the wisest, or that they are the best at this and they are the best at the same thing, they're going to bump heads at some point. Because what if they don't have the same opinions on it? What if Nabal thought that he was the wisest and they were going to go with what he said, and then Abigail's like, no, I'm wiser than you, and we're going to do what I said, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? What if it would have been like that? It's just their marriage would not have worked out like that. And so in any relationship, I don't want to be with nobody that's just like me. I don't. I want him to be able to balance me out. That's what I need, because I know I'm a hothead. I know that if somebody stepped to me crazy, I'm going to go off, and you better call the police. Like, but I need somebody that can calm me down. I need somebody that can balance me out. And I'm starting to understand that more when I look at my parents. For example, and even my aunt and uncle, they're the same way as my parents. My mom and her sister are very much so outspoken. They're very much in the public. A lot of people know who they are. They're very well known for, not necessarily for bad, it's not for bad things at all. They're both known for just being out in the community doing their thing. And so, but my uncle and my dad, they're both very to themselves. They don't speak much. They're very calm, cool, and collected. Stephen's women, on the other hand, run up, you're going to get done up. Like, that's just what's in our bloodline. And it's interesting to see that, because you have to, and I remember being younger, but like, how did they end up together? Like, how? Because even on my dad's side, my dad has a brother, and I remember being like 9 or 10 when he married his wife, and I just I'm not a fan of this uncle. I've never been a fan of this uncle. I loved him because he's my uncle, but he's a very odd character to me. I'm not going to talk bad about my uncle, but his wife is so sweet and so loving, while he is very cold. He comes off very cold. And I always wonder, how did this happen? Like, how did she end up with him? Why is she with him? And I know I'm not the only person that thought that. We, family, we've discussed this before. And I remember, but now that I'm older, I'm thinking, okay, maybe she balances him out in the friendliness category, but maybe he balances her out somewhere else that we just don't know about. Because I've known him my whole life. I don't know this lady like that. I love her dearly. I don't know everything about her, and I don't know everything about him. I don't know where she's lacking, where he has an abundance. You have to be able to balance that out. And so with Abigail had wisdom. She understood that we will always be in debt to this man because of what he's done for us. He's protected us this whole time. And on top of that, I don't want no problems with him. I don't want no smoke with David. Like, she understood that. And so, because she showed up, there was favor. The Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and receives favor. Abigail literally is his favor. In this situation, she is his favor. And for some of you, it's not even with your relationship, even with your jobs, with where you live. Certain things have not happened because you showed up. The Bible says in Psalms 5:12 that surely the Lord will bless the righteous and he will surround them with favor as a shield. There's a thing we do at my church. We have a thing called the favor confession. And this is where I realized that this was an actual verse. I thought we were just saying it. I went back and looked and I'm like, wow, all this stuff is rooted in scripture. I thought this was just something that we was just saying. Like, I didn't know. I really didn't know. But this Psalms 5:12 says that he will surround the righteous with a favor shield. Like, paraphrasing, but that's what it says. And so because Abigail showed up, the favor showed up, protection showed up because of her favor. You understand? So, like, when you show up, things change because of the favor that follows you. God is with you everywhere you go. So no matter what happens, the favor is going to protect you. And I remember when I was working in hotels, one of my biggest fears was somebody coming in and just spraying the whole desk, like shooting up everything. That was because we're the first contact. We're the first point of contact. We don't have people standing outside. We don't have any of that. Literally, they come in and they see me. That was always my biggest fear. So I remember going to work just praying, God, please don't let nobody come in here and shoot this hotel up. Like, yeah, I'm a little bit dramatic. I'm not gonna lie. I am a little bit dramatic. So I watch a lot of movies. So I'm like, in my mind, like, if y'all ever seen Bad Boys, like the first one, like when what was the dude, the drug dude, the French dude that had the Porsche? He came into Mike Lowry's apartment building and literally started shooting. And in my mind, that was gonna happen one day at the hotel. So that's always been one of my fears, like that would happen, and that I wouldn't be able to explain. Nobody would be able to get into contact with my family about that. So I would pray and pray and pray that wouldn't happen. And so every single day, my prayers were answered. Yeah, there's some days we had to call the police. A lot of days we had to call the police at this last hotel, and things would get a little crazy. But it was never that my life was in danger. It was never anything like that because I showed up. Because you showed up, teachers. Those bomb threats are just threats. They're not real things. Because of that, there's no active shooters in your school. Because of that, your children in your classrooms are safe. Because you showed up on your job, things change. Things are protected because of the anointing that follows you, the favor that's on your life. You are the secret weapon. If you didn't show up, those people will never see Jesus. You understand that? Like, you are the secret weapon. Like, you got the juice. Like, and Abigail, honestly, she had more than just wisdom. She had wisdom and she had favor. So she had a double secret weapon. Like, this whole thing is crazy to me because I'm like, wow. So because I showed up and God is with me everywhere I go, he's an ever-present help in the time of trouble, nothing's going to happen to me. Like, I'm not going to say nothing, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm protected because he's there. Like, he's always there because he's an ever-present help in a time of trouble, and he's with me everywhere he goes, everywhere I go. Like, then when I tell you this thing blessed me so good, I'm like, wow. Like, and I can think back on my life, and I'm thinking about things that have happened and things for people, and I don't want to sound boastful in it, but like, because certain prayers were prayed or because certain things were done, things happen for people. And I can't do anything but thank God for being with me in that. because I remember being in I think I was in 5th grade. There was a boy that brought a gun to school in 5th grade. Yeah, he pulled a gun at the lunch table and was like, "I will shoot you." And my school was all over the news, national news. It was crazy. And now that I'm older, I thank God that my life, was still spared. Granted, I didn't know God like that back then, but even in high school, I remember going to parties, and I probably will do a story time on this too. And there was a particular situation that happened, and they started shooting at this party I was at. I was, I think, 16. No, I was 17. I was 17. And they started shooting at the party, and my friends, they don't all live in the same kind of neighborhood that I was living in at the time. So, some of them, they were a little shell-shocked. Yeah, I don't think I should use that word, but they were a little shocked because oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Get in your car and go home. I'm trying to make sure they, that they get to where they're supposed to be, and a bullet scrapes the top of my car. Thank God that his shield of protection was around me. You know what I'm saying? That could have been, so many people died that night, but I thank God that they weren't my friends. And I feel bad for the families that lost people, but I'm thankful to God that it wasn't my life. It could have been my life. It could have been the other way. It really could have. And it could have been the other way for you, but I just hope that you guys know and understand that you are a weapon. You are a threat to the kingdom of hell, and you are a weapon for the kingdom of God. God will use you, and we will see what he's using you for, and it will come to pass. And I pray that you all have a good night, good day, whatever time it is when you're watching this, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.